saw that there is tremendous decrease in kidnapping, banditry, and armed robbery, and even act of cultism.
President Buhari meets with security chiefs, gives the marching order to ensure safety of lives and property.
Value what you have and not what is in another man's land.
Another of 314 Nigerians returned from South Africa. The Diaspora Commission charges state governors to integrate their indigenes.
You take your money, your own money, to the banks to keep. Banks will remove something because we keep the money.
House of Representatives wants CBN to reverse cashless policy on deposit. And in sports, Nigeria shifts position in FIFA ranking. Good evening and welcome to A Network News on the Nigerian Television Authority. Kene Ima Abodike is my name, and on the news with me from Lagos is Hengeno John Adams, and from Jos is Miriam Adura, while Dibabari Siedoma Nweke will join us from Port Harcourt Center. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the nation's armed forces and other security services in the country to do whatever is necessary within the limits of the law towards bringing back the good old days when Nigerians go to sleep with their two eyes closed. The president gave the marching order while presiding over a crucial meeting of the National Security Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The crucial strategic engagement had in attendance the Minister of Defense, the service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police, Director General of the Department of State Services, and a senior official of the National Intelligence Agency. Presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, the meeting, which critically analyzed the nation's security situation, came to the conclusion that tremendous achievements have been recorded.
We made comparison of what had happened in the previous quarters and then this quarter, and we saw that there is tremendous decrease in kidnapping, banditry, and armed robbery, and even act of cultism. You can see from the situation in Northwest, banditry has reduced tremendously, kidnapping also have gone down, and this, we have statistics to back it.
The Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, told newsmen that to arrive at this moment of respite, a lot of work has been made by the security agencies, including reordering of long-existing priorities.
We went to the northwestern zone of this country. We sat down with the traditional rulers and all the governors and the leadership of Mieti Allah, and they identify some of the challenges that is fueling kidnapping and banditry. And those challenges were looked into to the extent that the bandits and the kidnappers have decided to release their captives and also surrender their arms. That has contributed. And also those that refuse to accept the peace initiative, we've been able to identify their camps, especially along Abuja-Kaduna Road, along Bindungwari Niger axis. And we went to the den of these kidnappers. We went to their camps, and we dislodged some of these camps.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, it is not yet Uhuru until Nigerians in all parts of the country are made to live devoid of fear and uncertainty.
We've been charged by Mr. President to do more. He wants to see a near zero crime society in all the geopolitical zones, in fact, the whole of the country. The thief Jukun crisis, the federal government came up with initiative by bringing the leadership of the two states and their traditional rulers. We've been asked to support that initiative and see to it that the dialogue succeeds and there's peace between the Jukuns and the thieves. And we've also been charged to increase the security along the pipelines to make sure that crude oil theft is stopped completely.
The Inspector General of Police used the opportunity to assure FCT residents that far-reaching measures have been taken towards effectively policing Nigeria's seat of power. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria is desirous of greater German investment in infrastructure, especially the power sector, for sustainable growth and development of the economy. This was while exchanging views with the new German ambassador to Nigeria, Birgit Ori. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again has the report.
The new German envoy, Birgit Ori, was in Nigeria's seat of government to present her letters of credence to the president to formally begin official responsibilities in the country. President Buhari described the agreements recently signed between Nigeria and the German consortium Siemens on power as most welcoming for the country and promised that his administration will meet its own part of the bargain. He said power is critical to the future of Nigeria and therefore everything will be done towards ensuring stability, reliability and affordability by the nation's majority. The president said Nigeria also remains grateful to Germany for humanitarian interventions in the northeast, as well as the visit of Chancellor Angela Merkel to Nigeria, which further strengthened the mutually beneficial relations. For Ambassador Birgit Ori, it is a great privilege to serve in Nigeria, which she said had always been her aspiration. She described the country as the biggest and most important on the continent of Africa. The envoy congratulated Nigeria for holding two key positions in the United Nations, Deputy Secretary General and President of the UN General Assembly, saying the country's rising global profile reflects its pivotal role in Africa. President Muhammadu Buhari also received letters of credence from the new Ethiopian ambassador to Nigeria, Azanau Tadesse Abreha. He said it is important for diplomats to stay longer in the country in order to understand the dynamics of the culture, economy, and landscape. The president emphasized that Nigeria is not only big but versatile, and therefore longer period of stay is required to be fully understood and appreciated. President Buhari said the bilateral relations with Ethiopia has been steady and highly rewarding for both countries and urged the ambassador to further strengthen the bond. The Ethiopian ambassador assured the president that he will promote strategic relations between Nigeria and his country, which he said will be taken to the highest level of mutual respect. The two envoys were earlier on arrival at the forecourt of the presidential villa, accorded warm and highly befitting diplomatic welcome by officers and soldiers of the Presidential Guards Brigade. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari will depart Abuja Sunday for New York, United States, to participate in the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The president's participation at this year's gathering of world leaders is particularly significant as it coincides with Nigeria's presidency of UNGA. Rhoda Anunam has details.
Nigeria, for the second time in history, is occupying the prestigious position of President of United Nations General Assembly, with Professor Mohammed Tijani Bande coming in as the 74th president 30 years after late Major General Joseph Nanvin Garba's election during UNGA 44 in 1989. With the theme, Galvanizing Multilateral Efforts for Poverty Eradication, Quality Education, Climate Action and Inclusion, President Buhari is scheduled as the fifth speaker on the first day of the debate. He is expected to underscore his administration's commitment to building on the achievements of his three-point agenda and reaffirm Nigeria's position on salient global issues. While in New York, President Buhari and members of his delegation are expected to participate in the Climate Action Summit with the theme, A Race We Can Win, A Race We Must Win, convened by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The team will also participate in other high-level meetings organized by the President on UNGA 74 on health, politics, sustainable development, financial development, and a meeting on elimination of nuclear weapons, as well as side events organized by the country's MDAs. 7 European and African countries have confirmed participation at these events designed to mobilize collective global action against illicit assets, their recovery and return for developmental projects. The Nigerian leader is also billed to hold bilateral meetings with some leaders of other delegations, chief executive officers of big companies keen to invest in the country. Before returning to Abuja, President Buhari will meet with a select group of top American-based Nigerian businessmen and potential investors. The president will be accompanied to New York by Governor Abdullahi Sule, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, and Adegboyega Oyetola of Nasarawa, Kebbi, and Osun states, respectively. Also on the president's delegation are Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema, Minister of Environment Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud, Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed, and Minister of Health Dr. Osagi Ihanire. Also, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Minister of Water Resources, Minister of Education, amongst others. Rhoda Anonam, NT News.
Now, the nation may be losing up to $2 billion annually if urgent action is not taken to curb vandalism and oil bunkering in the Niger Delta region. State House correspondent Jide Onifade tells us more.
The ad hoc committee constituted by the National Economic Council to address the impact of vandalization, oil theft and illegal bunkering on oil production, and to check the effectiveness of the activities of the Joint Task Force and other security agencies in curbing the menace of oil theft, and also to consider the setting up of a special court to prosecute offenders, amongst others.
The ad hoc committee, in its findings, discovered that there were huge losses. In fact, the NNPC reported to the committee that 22.6 million barrels of crude oil, valued at approximately $1.35 billion, was lost during the first half of this year. And that if this situation is not contained, by full year, we would have lost in excess of $2.7 billion.
Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State, who is heading the ad hoc committee, says the committee recommends to NEC on how to check the activities leading to these losses, and here are some of the recommendations.
That there is a need to restructure the maintenance and ownership of all pipelines as a way of tackling the perpetrators of crude and other products. That we should have a legal framework that will ensure that criminals are duly prosecuted, imprisoned, and their assets confiscated.
Another subcommittee, that of the committee looking into the farmers and herders crisis, also made presentation and recommendations which will guide the federal and state government on the implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Program, which is aimed at addressing the business of animal husbandry as a whole.
$100 billion budget was proposed by the committee to support the project. Federal government is to contribute 80% in grants to support states, while states will contribute land, project implementation structure, personnel, and 20% cost of the project.
We've moved up 24 places in the World Bank is of doing business ranking, and 32 Nigerian states, led by Kaduna, Enugu, Abia, Lagos, and Anambra states, have improved in their ease of doing business environment.
Interestingly, the governors also wanted to know from the Vice President what the impact of the recently instituted Economic Advisory Committee would be on NEC.
And the Vice President explains that both councils are advisory for the benefits of Mr. President, while NEC is established by the Constitution. They have to complement one another. The Vice President then added that NEC could be briefed regularly on the activities of the newly found Economic Advisory Council with the permission of Mr. President.
Balances in the accounts as at 17th September 2019 are given as excess crude account $274,583,856.78. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Nigeria Governors Forum says members are ready to commence payments of the 614 billion naira bailout funds which the federal government gave to some states during the 2015-2017 financial crisis. But this will happen after account reconciliation with the federal government. Chairman of the forum, Governor Kayode Fayemi, said this at a meeting of the governors in Abuja. Adebola Bruskler Sunday was there.
The meeting was the fourth in the series after their swearing in. And after their meeting behind closed door, the chairman, Kayode Fayemi, briefed newsmen.
We don't want a situation that will put our banking system, our financial system in any jeopardy. However, governors believe that just as we are ready to pay, we also have a duty to ensure reconciliation of accounts as far as monies owed to states may be concerned, and that is a process that is ongoing. The forum received a presentation from Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, advising that the country should expect above average rainfall in several states, which has already resulted in severe flooding situations. State Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program for Results, SIFTES. The team from the World Bank assured the forum that all assessments now imply that states have improved in transparency ratings over the last quarter. The forum also listened to a presentation by the Transmission Company of Nigeria.
The forum assured Nigerians of its support to Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in order to stabilize electricity supply in the country. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Let's go to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the implementation of cashless policy on deposit, which came into effect on Wednesday, 18th September 2019. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that House members were unanimous that the policy would negatively affect small and medium-scale businesses in Nigeria.
The new policy, according to Representative Benjamin Kalu, who brought the issue on the matters of urgent public importance, is already in effect in Lagos, Ogun, Kano, Abia, Anambra, Rivers, and the Federal Capital Territory, while full implementation would be effected nationwide by March next year.
Will attract 3% processing fees for withdrawals and 2% processing fees for lodgement of amounts above 500,000 naira for individual accounts and 5% processing fees for withdrawals and 3% processing fees for lodgement of amounts above 3 million naira for corporate accounts.
Those you take your money, your own money, to the bank to keep. Bank will remove when you just to remove something because we keep the money.
The House Committee on Banking and Currency has been mandated to interface with the CBN to ascertain the relevance of the policy for further legislative action. The lawmakers also adopted a motion from Representative Abiodun Falake on the need for the federal government to provide bailout funds to resuscitate ailing industries for employment generation.
This bailout will help reduce the country's dependence on imports, increase income and gross domestic products of the country, boost the foreign reserves, thus leading to economic buoyancy and reducing dependence on oil as the major income earner for the country.
For instance, in the textile industry, you need to revitalize the agricultural sector, particularly in the cotton area of production, for it to be viable. Otherwise, we will have a moribund company again sitting without production.
We have put in a lot of money in the industry and it has been collapsing. So I just advise that in as much as we are investing in the industries, we also need to put money in power.
the House suggested the strengthening of the National Directorate of Employment and putting more attention on vocational training to tackle the effects of unemployment being witnessed in the country. 3 bills were passed for second reading, including a bill for the repeal of Emergency Powers Act. In another development, the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, has hosted the president of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Chris Elias, who said Nigeria is its major partner in Africa.
Economic concentration more on agriculture than in oil. Definitely, we're going to require your input in this area.
The visit was to help understand priorities for strengthening of collaboration. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
It is time to take our first break. We will return in just a moment.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
Nigerian Army invites applications from eligible Nigerians for commission into the Nigerian Army as short service combatant and direct short service commission officers. Applicants must be Nigerian, male or female. The ages for short service combatant is between 23 and 28, while those applying for direct short service commission must be between ages 20 and 32 by January 2020. Only medical consultants can be up to 40 years of age. They must be physically, mentally, and medically fit according to the Nigerian Army standards. To apply, log on to www.nigerianarmyms.ng. Follow the prompts and complete the application process. Then print out an online generated photo slip or card. All applications must be completed and submitted online, not later than 28th September 2019. Active Military Secretary, Army Announcer.
Tell you what, when will the new meters come? Because we are tired of estimated billing. Good news, my people. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has come up with the new meter asset provider regulations called the MAP. Nigeria MAP.
It is to ensure provision of meters, eliminate estimated billing, and ensure electricity customers only pay for energy they consume. Yes. Just go to your local electricity distribution center and request for your new meters.
Because the new meter is reliable and cheaper to reach.
This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in day your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalu. Oganekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Serie A and La Liga matches live. Go for GoTV Max.
Helen!
Hey, where's your mom?
Today is her toilet day.
What?
Helen!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow you're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with all this, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible!
Challenge? New Ticker Half X10X. Even if you use this solution 10 times, it won't give you the same cleaning like Harpic.
Its new thicker formulation sticks to the bowl better, removes old stains, and gives you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow! New Harpic 10X gives me the freedom from toilet day. New Harpic 10X for 10 times better cleaning.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites all members of the 2019 Presidential Inauguration and Democracy Day celebrations to an appreciation dinner scheduled to hold as follows. Date, Friday, 20th September 2019. Venue, Congress Hall, Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Time, 7 p.m. prompt. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Guests of honor, Senate President, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, Chairman of All Progressives Congress, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, former and serving honorable ministers and federal permanent secretaries. Hajia Maria A.D. Rufai, Secretary, Organizing Committee, 2019 Presidential Inauguration and Democracy Day Celebrations. Announcer.
Welcome back. Some African countries are beginning to emulate federal government's de-radicalization, rehabilitation and reintegration program for repentant Boko Haram members in their countries. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin, revealed this while receiving the Gombe State Governor, Mohammed Inuwa Yahaya.
In 2015, the federal government established the De-Radicalization, Rehabilitation and Reintegration DDR program to encourage willing and repentant Boko Haram members to surrender. The program, which provided intervention in vocational training and health assessment for the ex-combatants, depleted the fighting force of Boko Haram while providing a new lease of life for them. Though the impact of the initiative is local, the success story is, however, going beyond the nation's borders.
It is a novel arrangement, and I must say that even all over the world, that model is being appreciated.
The governor of Gombe State is also visiting the Chief of Defense Staff to discuss provision of a permanent site and structure for the DDR program in his state.
We appreciate what the Operation Safe Corridor is doing, particularly in the area in terms of providing social services for hospitals and for engagement of the people. But nonetheless, their presence too could be improved on.
The governor commended the armed forces for curtailing the activities of Boko Haram in the northeast. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now to security. A theater command operation Lafia Dole has declared a non-governmental organization in the northeast, Action Against Hunger, as persona non grata for what it described as aiding Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists by supplying them with foods and drugs. A statement by the Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Operation Lafia Dole, Colonel Ado Issa, indicates that the decision followed several warnings to the NGO to desist from the practice. The statement pledged the commitment of Operation Lafia Dole to continue partnership with credible NGOs and the CSOS to cushion the impact of the humanitarian crisis in line with international best practices. Now, following the voluntary return of 187 Nigerians on Wednesday, 11th of September from South Africa, another batch of 315 returnees have arrived the country through the cargo wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports that the returnees were received by the chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, and the Chief Executive Officer, APs, Alan Onyema.
Returnees arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, around 7:30 Wednesday night from Johannesburg, South Africa.
I'm happy. I'm really happy. I want to come back since. I'm really happy.
Thank my God, say I just come back, leave my things there, all my things, my property. Just leave that, just come with empty hand like this.
There's no place like home. Value what you have.
and not what is in another man's land.
Although the evacuation should have taken place on Tuesday, but was stalled owing to delayed landing permit to Air Peace Airline by the South African Airport Authority.
We're going to ensure that we keep up with them, find out how we're doing, especially the children and the mothers. There's a widow with 4 children. Already there are offers of scholarship. So we will keep in touch with them and ensure that we bridge the gap.
We'll be able to conduct appropriate training with them so that they can fit into the economic recovery and growth plan of the federal government.
Chief Executive Officer Air Peace, Allen Onyema, said the evacuation is a continuous process.
What he did has made Nigerians become proud of themselves. This sense of belonging. Look at all of them singing national anthem. Nobody is talking about separation anymore. Nobody is talking about marginalization again.
Representatives of Lagos and Ondo State government also offered support to the returnees.
We are meeting them and then give them our own contribution to complement what the federal government of Nigeria has done.
We provide an allowance of 20,000 naira for each person, both young and old.
The returnees are expected to take advantage of the federal government's social reintegration program to start a new life. In Lagos, Awol Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria and the government of South Africa are working towards resuscitating their binational commission, which will address diplomatic shortcomings, especially xenophobic attacks on Nigerians. The chairman and chief executive officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, who announced this at a meeting with Senate Committee on Diaspora, stressed the need for state governors to take charge of reintegrating their indigenes who were evacuated from South Africa. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports.
More than 480 Nigerians have been voluntarily evacuated from South Africa so far. That basically is the first step in this social movement circle, and to avoid creating a new social dislocation in the Nigerian system, these returnees must be adequately reintegrated into their various communities and empowered. That concern resonated at this meeting involving the Senate Committee on Diaspora and the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. The second visit of the chairman and chief executive officer of the commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, to National Assembly in 1 month was to update the committee on the evacuation so far. Abike Dabiri Erewa implored states to take over the rehabilitation process of the returnees, while the commission will follow up especially on conducting needs assessment.
We've got some response, but we hope that all the responses will come in and you'll ensure full reintegration and empowerment of these Nigerians.
A total number of 315 persons were evacuated in the second batch, 199 of them male, 118 female, while 98 were minors. Imo State has the highest number of returnees at 103, while Nasarawa and Ebonyi State have the least, 1 returnee each. The Senate Committee has short of Senate's assistance in funding the commission so as to enable it to put in place proactive measures for future occurrence of similar diplomatic challenge.
We are in support of the decision of the federal government, of the President of the Diaspora of South Africa, based on that principle, and we will deliver this to the Senate. And I think I'm speaking on behalf of the committee and the leadership which I have its mandate. We are also pleased with what the Commission and other relevant government agencies have done.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Mustafa Suleiman, was also at the National Assembly to brief the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs on the same matter.
To come and brief the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs the exact happenings and what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has done on its part.
There are issues that are being discussed between the South African government and the Nigerian government. And in the typical diplomatic fashion, there are MOUs and agreements that are going to be discussed by the time we convene what we call the Binational Commission.
The Senate committees commended the evacuation process so far and promised to give any legislative assistance when needed. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Unko, NTA News.
Joining us tonight is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa. Good evening.
Good evening. Nice to be with you.
Now, with the latest batch of 315 returnees from South Africa, Are there still more Nigerians willing to return, and what arrangements are in place for their evacuation?
Well, we'll wait for our mission in Johannesburg to update on that. But as the president has directed, any Nigerian that wants to voluntarily come home will come home. And the chairman of EPIS, Chief Alan Onyema, to whom we're all very grateful, has said he doesn't care about the number. He'll be there to bring them back. And of course, the federal government will also do everything it can. So we'll wait on the mission in Johannesburg to update us as time goes on. But like the president directed, anybody that wants to come back will come back.
Now, reintegration is key. How is the Commission collaborating with state governments to ensure proper integration of the returnees? Well, what we did was, at least they have lines of communication. 1 or 2 lines, we can't reach them, but we've given them numbers to call. So after having done the initial thing, there has to be a lot more. Bank of Industry has also been calling them for soft loans, which they will be meeting them with. But state governors, we appeal to them, they have to take responsibility for their citizens. I think the highest we have is about 131 or so from one state. So some states have been reaching us. Lagos was at the airport yesterday, gave 20,000 to each of the returnees, and also they're calling them, I think they have about 13 or so, calling them to, empower them and give them jobs within the state. So every state will do the same thing. And reintegration program is very key. We had doctors at the airport yesterday, so they had their medicals checked. We had people there that were into guided counseling. And we also had people who are already offering entrepreneurship program. And we also want to appeal to Nigerians who want to support that. They really do need a lot of support. These are people who are not criminals at all. They're not criminals. They have their jobs, but the jobs have been destroyed, properties burnt, and the only offense is being black and being Nigerian. So every support is welcome for every one of them, especially the women and children. We had a widow with 4 children. Scholarship offers are coming in, but not concrete yet. So we'll keep following up. Like I said, we'll do their needs assessment, know what is needed and not needed. But they've got the basic things, just settle home, reunite with families here, and keep going for a while. So we'll keep in touch with them and do our best with state governors in particular to ensure that they do take care of their citizens. Madam, your commission has been driving the issue of compensation. Has there been any positive response from South African government? Well, that will be the minister that will address that, because as the president directed, the minister will continue engagements with his colleague and other relevant agencies. So it's a conversation that will continue between the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the relevant authorities in South Africa. So how would you describe Nigeria's relationship with South Africa following that letter of apology to Nigeria? Well, as the president said, we have to preach love, not hatred. We have to preach a more united Africa. But what we are asking for is stop killing our people. And the South Africans have admitted that it's something embarrassing to them, and they'll do everything to ensure foreigners are protected. We have 8 policemen that have been charged to court in South Africa for their involvement in killings of Nigerians. We hope that the case will end. We still have this Elizabeth Chukwu, who was murdered in her hotel room. We really want to know what happened to her. So we just expect that kind of cooperation from South Africa. And the government, they've assured President Buhari that they'll do everything to ensure that all these killings stop, and we take them for their words. We actually want to thank you and your commission and the rest of you that have been doing well to see that this whole saga comes to an end. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on NTA Network News tonight. Thank you. I've been speaking with the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa. Now, the federal government, or rather the Federal High Court in Abuja, has convicted Process and Industrial Development Company, British Virgin Islands and Process Industrial Development Nigeria Limited, and has ordered for their winding up and forfeiture of their assets and properties to the federal government. Justice Iyang Eku handed down the orders following the company's arraignment by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission after a petition by Attorney General of the Federation.
Both the Process and Industrial Development, British Virgin Islands Process, and Industrial Development Nigeria Limited, who were arraigned by the EFCC, pleaded guilty to all the 11-count charge which border on money laundering, fraud and false pretense through their representatives, Mohammed Kuchazi and Adamu Mohammed. Investigations by the EFCC show that the two companies which signed a memorandum of understanding with Nigeria through the Ministry of Petroleum Resources in July 2009 for the accelerated gas project failed to live up to their own bid of the understanding. One of such is to procure a land and build a gas processing plant in Cross River State, which the companies failed to do. The companies also evaded tax by paying little above 3 million naira instead of more than 13 million naira. Delivering judgment after the guilty plea, Justice Ian Iko said he has taken note of the plea and the evidences tendered before the court. Therefore, the punishment to be meted on the accused will be in line with Money Laundering Act and Advance Free Fraud Act.
Both companies pleaded guilty, and we went through a review of the facts of the case, presented all documents that were recovered in the premises of the commercial director of the company. We also presented to the court statements of account showing massive withdrawals of dollars, some running into $700,000. We also showed infraction of Money Laundering Prohibition Act as well as the Advanced Free Fraud.
Reviewed their activities and they believe that it is in their best interest to enter such a plea, not to prolong the matter. And I think it is the right decision.
The judge therefore ordered the winding up of the companies and forfeiture of their assets and properties to the government and entered it as judgment of the court.
It's time to join Lagos for more news. Hingino John Adams is our guide.
Thank you, Ken, and welcome to Lagos. Chairman, Lagos Council of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, Musa Muhammad, has assumed office as the acting national president of the association following a resolution which sacked Mr. Osakpa Moen Eriu in that capacity. The acting national president promised to run a transparent and equitable administration. Michael Olale reports.
If in the absence of my president, which they elect us together, Alhaji Musa Shehu Isewole, definitely I'm the acting national president according to this constitution.
The new acting national president said his emergence is in accordance with the provision of the association's constitution and a reflection of the power embedded in the collective will of the members to institutionalize a change beneficial to the association. He said no individual has the power to unilaterally take any decision without the mandatory two-thirds majority of the national executive members.
This is our power. I will ask all the members throughout the nation, all the zonal chairmen, they should go back and implement their rights. Today, all my zonal chairmen, they can go back to their zones and coordinate their zone according to the constitution of government.
The new acting National Secretary General, Harry Ejiofor, was optimistic that the new path to greatness, which has been strategically mapped out by the Musa Muhammad-led administration, will deliver greater incentives for members, adding that democracy is being entrenched by this giant stride.
We must bring the association back. What we are doing today is giving back the association to the owners of the association. No more by force, no more because I know so and so person.
The 28 National Executive Council members who ratified the dismissal of Eriu were in attendance. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this commercial break.
Uze. Let me give phone to Smally, make I follow up.
Go. It's Wasiu, your former driver.
Hey! Wasiu! The video call! Oh, Kaka! Mommy! With my Glow 4G, I can now upload my cars online, sell, and make plenty profit. Guess what they call me now, mommy? The new mega online car dealer.
Wasiu! Strike now when the iron is hot.
See, we won't be like Shaki. I will come and meet you specially and bring one big one for you.
Why you won't see me?
Your daughter. I want to marry her.
You know well? I've been wanting to do it.
Hello?
When Glow 4G dey your phone, confidence must dey body. Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
Darling, what's the matter? It's your birthday. Guests are already waiting at the pool.
It's headache, cold, pains all over my body.
Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet and powerful ingredients specially prepared to bring you fast relief from headache, body ache, cough, flu, cold, and fever. Baby, how are you feeling now?
Wow, I feel great thanks to Cold Time Tablet.
Cold Time Tablet also available in syrup for children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, a quality product from Embassy Pharmaceutical and Chemicals Limited. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, your visa to healthy living.
To the outer framers, the hat tippers, the fringe goers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel for an even better you.
Introducing the new Dettol Even Tone Pink Glow.
Healthy skin feel for an even better you.
He's a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent, but now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy.
Daddy, when I had malaria in school, they gave me Amatem Soft Gel. It's soft and easy to swallow.
Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
Is down only in round 1.
Ayua, Amatem for Soft Gel, a good talk about malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, did you hear that?
Of course I did. That is Village Elmaster tune.
Eh? So, Auntie Amebo was not gossiping then?
Village Elmaster is celebrating 50 years.
50? Already? This is not a joke.
It is a national celebration. NTA and Village Elmaster family are commemorating 50 years.
Hey, please, tell me, when is our Golden Jubilee?
It is from the 8th to 11th of October, 2019.
I have to go and get ready. It's time to party.
Women. But we, men, will be there too.
Corporate organizations and individuals engaged in the production of intellectual properties are said to lose billions of naira annually due to poor corporate identity management. This was brought to the fore at the induction and training of advertising practitioners in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, is the largest television network in Africa, as well as one of the oldest and most accomplished indigenous broadcast brands in Nigeria. Like others in the creative industry, the broadcast outfit on a daily basis produces intellectual content for local and international audience. To this end, experts believe protection of such property against losses is key.
Under the Trademarks Act, Patent and Design Act, Copyright Act, all these laws are there to protect Nigerians. But a lot of Nigerians are very, very ignorant.
How do they want the public to see them? What can they put in place for the public to really understand what the organization is all about? Is it through their logo? Is it through their name? Is it through the activities of such organization?
Mukhtar Ibrahim is one of the 30 professionals to be fully admitted into the fold of Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria. Having been trained on effective corporate identity design and management, and now familiar with laws and regulations guiding corporate communications and strategies, he believes that making promises and keeping them is a great way to build a brand. Benny Adams, NTA News.
We now join Deba Barry in Port Harcourt for more news.
Good evening, Kenny, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The River State Police Command has stated its readiness to combat crime in the state. The Commissioner of Police, Mustafa Dandaura, stated this while briefing newsmen following the killings in some hotels in Port Harcourt. Uche Njaku has the details.
The police commissioner, Mustafa Dandaura, while briefing newsmen on the new phase of killing of ladies in the hotel, frowned at non-compliance by most hotel operators to install CCTV gadgets, strict compliance to check in and out procedure, as well as training of their staff on security and safety tips, even as a combined task force has been formed to combine this menace in the state.
They must contact everybody. They must document every guest that is coming. So far, so good. Is making a very good revelation on what has happened.
The issue of the CCTV, which is also very important. We also talk about training. Training is also very important. And by next week Friday, we'll start training.
Meanwhile, worried by the new dimension, different women activists hit the streets of Port Harcourt to condemn these dastardly acts.
A thorough, unbiased, and speedy investigations by the police should be looked into all the killings.
To check this ugly trend, the people are of the opinion that those who commit crime should be punished. In Port Harcourt, Uche Njoku.
And that's our contribution from Port Harcourt. It's back to Kenneth for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Deba Barry. The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies is seeking to explore the efficacy of the media in attaining greatness in institutional programs and engagement. While on a courtesy visit to NTA, Director General of the Institute, Professor Suleiman Abubakar Olarewanju, restated the desire to partner with the national medium to attain this objective. Eliasu Ali Yakubu tells us more.
The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies' primary responsibility is to strengthen the capacity of legislators and ensure that the positions and proposals advanced by the National Assembly are informed by requisite research and analytical support. Recently, the mandate of the institution was extended to accommodate democratic studies, which includes state and local governments, legislatures, as well as inculcate the values of peaceful democratic process at the grassroots to build a culture of peaceful coexistence among the people. Based on these developments, the institution approached the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) for collaboration to create awareness on the new mandate.
And any organization or institute that what is worth in terms of reaching out to the public, in terms of enhancing the capacity of the electorate and the various stakeholders in democracy, in terms of enhancing the capacity of legislature, needs the service of such a media organization.
What we eventually do to the visibility or lack of it of that organization is really dependent on what the organization does to itself. We just respond or react to what the organization does to itself.
The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies is an organ of the National Assembly of Nigeria established by an Act of Parliament. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Maria Madura is standing by in Jos for more stories from that part of the country.
It's good to have you join us. Having survived a series of conflicts in Plateau State, key players in peace-building initiatives have converged on the Plateau State capital to seek ways of promoting healing, forgiveness, and sustainable reconciliation in the state. The Plateau Unity and Peace Discourse was therefore mind-searching and frank for enduring peace. Ekemeren Kaneng Laduja reports.
Plateau State is emerging from the ashes of numerous crises to seek ways to renew itself, which is the reason for the Plateau Unity and Peace Discourse.
Just consider what binds us together as one people and as one human family.
And I want us to, from this day going forward, let it be part of the process that will be more enjoyable.
Sustaining the peace discourse by involving past governors and those who have contributed to the development of Plateau State but were forced to leave the state due to the violent conflict is the desire of the Plateau State government, which they say is key for integration.
The task of building peace is usually a slow process, but one that will ultimately succeed when there is cooperation and sufficient buy-in from all stakeholders.
As part of the reconciliation process, representatives of communities in Plateau State signed the expression of commitment to peace as their own contribution towards achieving long-lasting peace on the plateau. In Jos, Ekemeren Kaneng Laduja, NTA News.
That's it from here. Back to you, Kenne, for what's left of the news. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Miriam. We'll now go for our last break on the news tonight.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person where then go help us. Baba Torosa, Shangalo, Ogalekova, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Syria and La Liga matches live. Go for GoTV Max.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Welcome back as Tamara Ebiwe now brings us sports update.
Nigeria Super Eagles dropped one spot to 34 in the latest FIFA rankings released on Thursday. The top 10 includes Belgium, France, Brazil, England, Portugal, Uruguay, Spain, Croatia, Colombia, and Argentina. Nigeria's national football team, however, retained their number 3 position in Africa, with Senegal and Tunisia first and second, as Algeria and Morocco are in positions 4 and 5. Also among the top 10 in Africa are Egypt, Ghana, Cameroon, Congo Democratic Republic, and Cote d'Ivoire. Coach of the home-based Super Eagles, Imama Amapakabo, has named 20 players from the Nigeria Professional Football League to fly Nigeria's flag at Sunday's African Nations Championship qualifying match against Togo in Lomé. First choice in goal, Adamu Abubakar, is joined by Super Eagles goaltender Ikechukwu Ezenwa and Enyimba's Theophilus Afelohai, as well as defenders Olisa Nda, John Lazarus, Edboy Akpan, and Ebube Duru. Ndifreke Efyong, who netted 2 goals against Sudan, Mfon Udo and Tosin Omoyele were also included in the list. Sports has been described as an essential instrument which can be used to further enhance the fight against climate change in the world. This was the submission of participants during a novelty match to commemorate the 2019 United Nations International Peace Day in Abuja, with Team Climate losing by a lone goal, as FCT female coaches played as Team Climate. In the men's category, Team Peace and Climate drew goalless. With sports update, Tamara Ibiwe, NTA News.
And that's our package tonight on the NTA Network News. Thanks indeed for watching. My name is Kenan Imma Awudike. Do have a good night.